Hey guys, so I'll be doing a post-match chess analysis. So in this game, which I played on lichess.org, I was assigned black, and let's see how this goes. And I have done the engine is been turned on, so we can see what the engine recommendations were and how did each of us players play actually. So currently I'm in my 1400 odd rating, 1430, 1440 to be exact. So let's just watch. My opponent in this game was also somewhere similar rated, so we'll be watching what happens. So at this point, the bishop came up with a check. But so the engine basically was recommending that the bishop be taken back, but the player had played a very different way. Similarly here the engine was recommending that I actually either take back my queen or else take the knight with my bishop, but I played something different, and it said that it was a mistake. Basically this engine says that it's a mistake, but here's where the opponent made a bigger mistake. So this engine is saying that this is actually a blunder. So the idea by the white was that I would like to either protect my bishop in white or else my knight, probably that was his thought process. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but so they played, and the engine is saying that it's actually a big blunder, which again me taking the knight with my knight is also a blunder, it seems, as per the engine. Let's see how this goes. So as of now, if you actually look at it, we have two rooks, one bishop and one knight, and white has got two rooks and two bishops. So with all pawns in place, interestingly, white has probably a double pawn actually in the rook file, but otherwise it is more or less the same. But of course the engine says that white has slightly higher advantage over black in this position. Probably the reason could be that other than my bishop, all my other pieces are actually in the back rank. They are yet to open, especially rooks are completely covered, and even my knight is yet to go into the main center line, whereas both their bishops are developed and even their rooks seem to be ready to move. So I guess that's why white has been given slightly higher advantage over here. But let's see how this match proceeds. So we both castle on the king side. So here's where the system says that the engine says that it's a mistake move made by the pawn on white. Probably what could have been the explanation? Yeah, this is how I would have also played. So it doesn't exactly seem like there's been a huge mistake per se, but as we have seen, what I've seen is when engine says that something's a mistakes, typically you have to be engines tend to look at moves almost 3-4 moves down the line, so that's where you will actually realize, oh, where the mistake could have been there, and where there seems like some other. That's why probably they had made this recommendation, but let's just go ahead and see how the game unfolded. So another mistake by me, supposedly at this move. I should have probably played it here. So if you actually observe the pattern, one thing you will notice is that typically the 1400-1500 players usually tend to see probably 2 or 3 moves ahead. So when some moves are given as mistakes or inaccuracies, you can see that even I seem to have made a mistake as per the engine, and even the opponent has also made a mistake as per the engine. So that's what is something which I have consistently seen. I have played about 250 to 300 games, and that is something which I have observed. And whenever I have seen that players in that rating are actually not making any mistakes, they are literally playing as exactly as per the engine recommendation while doing a post-match analysis, I can tell with certain accuracy that yeah, probably this player was cheating actually during the game. But that is something which for the the website and the team to decide. Typically, but the way this match is progressing is something which is very much expected. Like, we tend to play moves which do not exactly are perfect all the time. There are either sometimes some accuracies, some mistakes. Usually where the real catch happens is when there are blunders which are made. Blunders typically can be understood by either players. Like, once those blunders are made, 1 or 2 blunders, you can almost be assured that the one who has made is going to lose for sure. So as of now in this game, if you actually look it up, until now there isn't exactly any blunder, so to say, other than the one blunder here which has been mentioned by the white, and then one blunder by black. So kind of, I guess, it evened out or something like that. So anyways, so we were here, right? Yeah. Yeah, this you see is where the system clearly says that this is a blunder. Because the recommendation is that you should have taken my knight with their bishop. I would have had to mostly taken it with this pawn. So what would have happened is there would have been double pawn structure 1, and also you will see why this one has been mentioned as a blunder. Now this one is again mentioned as another blunder, because what happens now is the king file is actually getting exposed over here, and this eventually will be the reason why the game will end the way it ends. So that is how the game actually ended, with the king getting checkmated. But something which I myself have not understood very strongly is, why is it that the engine kept recommending that the bishop take the knight even at this point in the move? I mean, I understood it when it was mentioned before, but why is it that they were mentioning it even now? Let us just see what happens if we actually make this move. So even after all those moves, it's pretty clear now that the white has significantly gotten weakened. They have just a rook and a bishop, while black has got two rooks over here, and even in the pawn number of pawns, actually it is there's one more pawn up, black is up one pawn, so that is a significant advantage over here. And on top of that, the king file is completely exposed with two rooks being here, so it's kind of obvious that it will become very easy to get into the checkmate position from here on. So do let me know what do you think about this game, and if you think that there are any moves that could have been made which could have been better than what even the chess engine was recommending, or if there were any moves which were probably pretty expected and it didn't work out.